Well, welcome and greetings to another episode of Lifescape Bite. Today we're going to be talking about anxiety, particularly ways in which we can reduce anxiety during stressful times. And this is part of a series on 10 ways to reduce anxiety during those stressful times. And in order to do that, you have to understand the genesis of anxiety. And we're going to start today with one tip, followed by a series of episodes, particularly on these 10 ways. The COVID-19 pandemic has impacted both our personal and professional lives, including the uncertainty that we face about our own health, our jobs, seeing our loved ones, and helping others. And so today we start on tips on staying focused and productive, and reducing anxiety. To understand how to reduce anxiety, we have to understand how the brain functions, because anxiety originates in your brain. The ability to focus, think, analyze, and problem solve, as well as the function of keeping you safe, the survival mode, originate in different parts of your brain. The prefrontal cortex is the area of the brain in which the problem-solving function resides. This is the part of your brain which provides analytical skills, judgment, critical thinking. It's that portion of your brain that you utilize for most of us when we're at work. On the other hand, the amygdala is that area at the base of the brain whose function is to keep you alive, and includes constantly scanning for threats, danger, problems. The amygdala signals that fight or flight response to perceived dangers. And when I thought about that, it reminded me of Lost in Space when I was a kid, and that concept of danger, Will Rogers. So when the prefrontal cortex is in control, the amygdala is diminished. And when the amygdala is in control, the prefrontal cortex is diminished. So it's kind of like this teeter-totter. One or the other is going to be controlling. The big challenge is that the amygdala cannot distinguish between whether a tiger is about to eat you or a threatening email. Both have the same reaction from the amygdala. In fact, the same stress hormones are released when you're being attacked by a tiger or you get that threatening email. And the problem that we face is that your amygdala can be literally hijacked, causing you tremendous anxiety and stress. You see, as far as your brain is concerned, there's a difference between fear and anxiety. And fear is much easier to conquer than anxiety. Why? Because anxiety is generally brought on by the fear of something that is unknown, whereas fear is generally associated with a fear of something known. And fear of the unknown emits a specific hormone that causes anxiety. Fear is the emotional response to real or perceived imminent threats, whereas anxiety is the anticipation of a future, often with unknown threats. You know, if you're out looking at that beautiful ocean and you're thinking, I'd really love to swim in that ocean, but then all of a sudden you start thinking, well, there might be something in that ocean that would eat me, like a killer whale, a shark, a giant octopus, a stingray. Fear of the unknown triggers your amygdala, which in turn produces these specific hormones, resulting in this overwhelming anxiety of what might happen. But if the shark jumps out of the water, you know what you're afraid of, and then your prefrontal cortex jumps into action. That analytical portion of your brain kicks in, and you can start analyzing and problem solving. So how do you reduce anxiety? Well, to reduce anxiety, the first tip is to ask yourself, what am I specifically afraid of? what is the specific fear? And then second, literally write it down. Once you know what you are afraid of, you can bring into power the prefrontal cortex to start analyzing and problem solving. And once you know what you're afraid of and you start that prefrontal cortex, you can sort your fears into 3 categories. 1, it's fake. It's really unreal. There's no reasonable probability that that fear would come to fruition. Second, it's a real, but it may feel so large that you have a need to kind of put it aside because you really can't deal with it now. And number 3, it's a problem, but it's something we can overcome through problem solving. Fear can be controlled, whereas anxiety cannot. So that's tip number 1. I'm looking forward to the next time you join us for episode number 2, dealing with tips 2 and 3. Thank you. God bless you, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. Goodbye.